Professor Zafer Erdoğan for his moderation. And for the papers that's going to be presented, I would like to invite Professor Enrique Ortega, Associated Professor Klement Podnar, and Selin Türker.
I guess too late to say good morning, but I'll say good morning. Where are you going, Prof? Come on.
I'm coming back.
All right, okay. All right, no.
Tell them the truth now that you were one of my students.
I was, yes, 12 years ago. Oops, 15, I'm sorry. 15 years ago, yes. Why did you mention that? Okay. He didn't take questions also too, so we'll get back to him. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers, to the dean, and to Ebru and all others. I think it is very nice to be over here. I'm from Ankara and I work at Eskişehir, and Izmir is always nice to be. And we have 3 papers. Actually, are you going to present over here or there? Are we going to sit here? All right, we'll sit there. Okay. The 3 papers, we'll start with Dr. Enrique Ortega. He's a professor of marketing at the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration at the University of Complutense of Madrid, Spain. Are you a Real Madrid fan? I am. Anyway. And, you know, he has published widely 15 books, over 100 papers, most probably, he forgot the numbers, yes? Numbers of the publications. And he's the member of the Academy of Marketing Science, and he works in marketing, communication, and tourism area. And his papers or presentations title is Integrating Communication at the Tourism Destinations, Meeting the Needs of Tourists, the lady in the last advertising. We have the second paper by Dr. Klement Podnar. He's an associate professor at the University of Ljubljana, Slovenia. Yes, and his research interest is in corporate and marketing communications and social responsibility, and he is the associate editor of Journal of Promotions Management. My latest paper is coming from there, but we just met, so there is no other relationship. And our last, his presentation is Stakeholder Engagement, Fed or Real McCoy, Attempt of IMC Paradigm Shift Through Online Media. And our last paper, recent PhD, just one day, and let's give her a clap. She just got her PhD yesterday. From your own, from the International University of Economics, İzmir Ekonomi Üniversitesi, that's what, I don't know, that's the translation I made. I'm sorry. Her research includes corporate marketing, communications, PR, and crisis management, and her presentation is going to be corporate social responsibility communications. I think we will have a very nice panel, and if we could have you, Professor Ortega, to start. Okay. The floor is yours. Thank you.
I am grateful to Professor Ebru Olsunoglu and to all the other members of the organizing committee for inviting me to participate in this conference. I shall speak concerning integrated communication at tourist destination from a general point of view, and later specifically concerning to Madrid tourist destination. This presentation is divided in 5 points, but I shall avoid some of them in order to be on time. The paper is interesting based in 3 points. First, this topic has received little attention in tourist literature and in tourist professional field. Second, tourism plays an important role in the economy of Turkey. The country is now in the 6th place of the world ranking by international tourist arrival, quoting about 32 million last year. This must have implication for the tourist management organization in Turkey. Third point is that in the tourist sector, information technology is usually a lot applied, but there are a lot of multi-stakeholders working around the tourist destination, and it's not easy to integrate communication in this area as it is in companies or it is in other corporations, and we shall show later. The tourist decision process starts always with the wish of the people to travel. After that, the process continues searching for information, analyze the information and the destination, choosing and booking a destination, arriving and enjoying the destination. And finally, the people get experiences and satisfaction. What happens concerning in this destination is very important for the future of this destination, because people can, if they get a lot of experiences and good satisfaction, the reaction is booking again the destination in future, friends and families and so on. If the experience and satisfaction is not good, the process will start again looking or searching for new tourist information destinations. The main task, one of the main tasks of the Convention Visitor Bureau and Visitor Information Center is inform, communicate, but at the same time pursue people, pursue tourists at the destination to take a lot of decisions. The effect of this decision can be shown in this theoretical model. Efficient information communication have a positive influence in many marketing concepts expressed here. In essence, this efficient information have a lot of repercussions in higher satisfaction, in obtaining higher tourist revenue in destination, and the predisposition to return to the destination. That is always a good thing for any destination. Well, concerning this research was undertaken last year in the second semester. Let me show first some figures concerning Madrid FAS. 10 million tourist arrival last year, 56% domestic tourists, 44 international tourists, 2 days average stay, tourist satisfaction 8.8, 3 World Heritage Sites, and 1 national park. The research objective of this investigation was determine the importance of information at tourist destination, to compare several forms of information at destination with 13 hotel services, to examine how information is disseminated to the tourists, and finally, to examine how information is integrated at Madrid Visitor Convention Bureau and tourist information centers. The method was quantitative and qualitative. from the quantitative side, a telephone survey to tourists was undertaken, a postal survey to hotel manager was undertaken too. From the qualitative side, a content analysis of the website of the three main tourist promoters existing in Madrid, and an observation of hotel and tourist places. These are the three main promoting Madrid as tourist destination. Tour Spain is a public corporation promoting international, making international promotion concerning all Spain. The second one is the regional government of Madrid promoting Madrid inside Spain, and the third is the municipal government promoting Madrid inside Spain. Here you have the first picture from the quantitative side. The importance of information on destination score quite high, 8 points. It means ladies score a little higher than men, and old people score higher than young people. In this figure, you have the evaluation of several forms and information destination, in total 5 different forms. As you can see, pamphlets in hotel halls is the highest score, 7.8, and the promotional book in the hotel room scored the same. And in third position is one of the new technologies, internet in hotel hall, score 7.4. Electronic desk in hotel score 7.2, and a short film in a hotel room scored 7.2. That means that the traditional promotions, such as pamphlets, such as promotional books, score better than new technologies. Here you have a comparison of 13 other hotel services provided usually by hotels. These are the score on all these services. As you can see, all these services score less high than the information at tourist destination. Here you have another new technology with a low score. You have here the rest of the services offered in hotels. As you can see, all the 13 hotel services score lower than the information, than the different forms of information. Here you have a picture from the perspective of hotel managers. Here you can see that 78 of the hotels have pamphlets in the hotel reception. But concerning the information about pamphlets about the regional area of Madrid, just only 50% approximately have pamphlets. Promotional book is lower, and internet in hotel hall is about 50%. These figures are not so high that they should be inclusive. This figure have a different question, and you shall see later, that probably some of the hotel manager is not saying the truth when answering the question. Where pamphlets are available in hotels? As you can see, just only about 22% of the hotels have available the pamphlets on displays in the hotel hall. That means that the people, the tourists of the hotel can pick up pamphlets without any inconvenience at all. In other cases, pamphlets should to be asked in the hotel reception. Here you have one important way of communication, that is Madrid Magazine, a monthly free magazine that can be obtained in many places, such as in hotels. According to the inquiry, just only one-third of the hotel, in one-third of the hotel, this magazine is available. This is a very short distribution. One last question to these people, hotel managers, is if the marketing communication, tourist communication at Madrid could be improved. As you can see in this data, near 50% of hotel managers think that this communication can be improved a lot. From the qualitative side, we can see that links between the three main organizations promoting Madrid to Spain and regional government and local government, there is not connection between the three websites. This is really a problem because it doesn't allow to the people to get information from the three perspectives. The municipal government tourist office have no tourist information about the region of Madrid. Neither the regional government tourist office have tourist information about Madrid, have not tourist information about Madrid city. This is a very important trouble for the tourist information. The tourist information is available neither in museums, art galleries, nor in historical places, nor in shopping centers, nor in other tourist attractions. That means the dissemination of information is not easy, and tourist people cannot take in this information easily and rapidly. The tourist information observed in a sample of 80 hotels, mainly the available pamphlets in displays, is much lower than the data indicated by the hotel managers in the relay service. That means that all these figures concerning hotel managers will be reduced probably. Well, we reach some important conclusions. First, tourists attribute great importance to the available information at the chosen destination. Traditional information resources, such as pamphlets in hotel hall and promotional information book in hotel, is more appreciated by tourists than new technology. Tourists attribute more importance to the different forms of considered information that from 13 considered hotel services. 4 Madrid tourist offices are using information technology, providing information to tourists through 2 websites before their arrival and when the tourists are in Madrid. Nevertheless, the system of tourist information at destination fails, in my opinion, in the integration of the communication. The Visitor Convention Bureau and Visitor Information Centers must produce information best suited to the wishes and needs of tourists, mainly printed information. As few tourists visit the Visitor Convention Bureau, the Visitor Information Center, compared to the tourists arriving at the destination, in the case of Madrid, approximately just only 10% of the total arrivals, tourist marketers must disseminate the existing information efficiently, so it may be reached all tourists easily and conveniently. Efficient dissemination of information requires the collaboration of diverse tourist agents, mainly the hotels, the travel agencies, and attractions with large tourist presence. We shall see now, to finish, the example of New Zealand. This tourist information in general must integrate traditional form of information with new information technology to attain the needs of tourists. To finish, you have a very nice example concerning New Zealand. Additionally to the intensive use of the technology information, we can see how the main office, a tourist office in Wellington, how printed information is displayed concerning the capital, the Wellington, concerning all the South Island, and concerning all the North Island. This information is displayed in the same way in all towns around New Zealand. Here you can see a small model. Additionally to the information in the front desk of the model, there is in the laundry a full of information in order to be picked up by the people working here. And finally, you can see the Cathedral of Wellington with a lot of tourist information offering to the people arriving there. This is a country which have integrated very well tourist information at destination. I should be pleased that Madrid as destination will do the same as New Zealand. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Professor Ortega. Should we have questions just after presentations? Yeah. Any questions?
It's not a question as much as a statement. That is that if I look at the tourism journals, there's very, very little information in there about integrated marketing communications at all. No? And yet, it's time, I think, that we started to sense in the direction of those journals. No? And especially when we start to compare, for example, with for example, New Zealand or some other area of the world, using the same instrumentality. It's time. No? So it's not a question, it's just, this information is very welcome. No?
Yes, please.
I want to say also thank you for your presentation, for your original research. When I was listening to your presentation, I went back to Professor Kitchen's and made a couple of remarks. One remark was, this is an original hidden research, and usually when we conduct academic research, we are lacking in how to explain this to professionals. So this is an academic production. You would present it to a group of, for example, people who are managing Madrid tourism. What would be some of the messages that you would like to get out of your academic research? What would be the messages that you would like to give to the tourism sector in Madrid with respect to your research?
Well, you know, when in general, tourist management in Madrid, local Spain, belongs to the political parties. That means they are usually not professional concerning marketing and communication. And many times they are looking for all new technology, thinking that all new technology will make disappear traditional ways. And this is a demonstration and a research taken before with large sample of American, English, German, French people show that new technologies in tourist vacation is never used. They have many difficulties to be signing and to reach there and so on. And the message is that traditional ways of communication must be necessary to be integrated in education. I have just only the opportunity to have a look in the hotel I stay, and there is nothing at all of tourist information to be picked up. Absolutely. And people need to be free to pick up information because this information is promoting to see new things and to take more decisions. That means to spend more money in the destination.
I think this is a great, what do you want to say something? I think this is a great observation because everything is contextual, as Professor Kitchen was saying, and we in Turkey, pretty much we like to speak, but we don't like to read. So, you know, most people just would go and to the information desk and say, where to see, where to eat, what to do. but this is good for our tourism and hotels managers also too. Maybe you can ask later on because we have 2 more questions. All right, 2 more minutes. Go on.
Like an advice, I'm from country of Georgia, and usually
Comment.
Tourists not always reach Georgia because they think country risk is really high. So just advice from you, like is old and traditional media outside of the country affecting tourists, or is it still new sources, new media affect them to make a decision? Because if pamphlets are provided in Turkey about Georgia, will that help them reach Georgia, or is it more if there will be advertisement, internet? Because usually they see from outside that in Georgia it's dangerous, and only by speaking like, no, it's not dangerous, I'm only one here maybe, so they don't really trust. So will pamphlet be the best idea from outside country? Because if they reach in Tbilisi, our capital, probably, as you discussed, pamphlets will be good about the country. But the point is they don't always reach the country. How to make them reach the country if it's
This was
a
also
bit...
my comments and question. Can I merge this question with mine? You can answer one question. The way you presented, you have done your research when the tourists were in Spain. And because of that, people would like to have printed pamphlets and the others. But as she was saying, and my first question was, but the decision that they make and the information search that they do use, most probably they do use technology beforehand.
Yes.
So your research was within Spain and within Madrid. Tourists are already there.
Well, there is two different questions. One of them is how destination is chosen. And that is the information, the process of information is completely different. The media, advertising, word of mouth is very important. And this research is concerning what's happened when tourists arrive to the chosen destination. You cannot use never the same media. This is word of mouth is quite important, as you say before. It's one of the best things, probably rated or scored at the same level of the better ways of information. But the question is that a lot of people, at least most coming to Spain, about 60 million comes to Spain, and they usually don't know what to do. Mainly people going to the beaches. That means that information must arrive to them in order to provoke, to promote, to let have a good knowledge, all things to do. And this is the mission of the communication at destination.
Thank you. Any other question? If not, thank you so much. And we have second presenter, Professor Klement Podnar.
I can use this. Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm delighted to be here. When I got invitation from Ebru, very kind invitation, she said something like, you are invited to come to Turkey, to Izmir, where we will discuss the future and recent trends in integrated marketing communication. And I thought, wow, great, we need that. And Turkey, I believe, is the right place to do that. Professor Philip Kitchen made a comment about North America. I think it's not only North America. It's also western part of Europe, who is, we all know, in big crisis now. But what is going on is that the center of the world, which was for maybe last 100 years in the western part, is moving. And it's moving to this part of the world. Again, it used to be like that, but 1,000 years ago. So my first step, before I actually answered, was I spoke with my wife and my co-author, Ursha Gulov. That's what I usually do. And I said, what do you think about it? And she said, yeah, that's a good idea. We have to discuss the future of IMC. So we made a small panel with our colleagues and, from the practice, and we had a small, short discussion about it. Of course, we do all the literature review, and at the end, this presentation, this working paper came out just for this event. So, in my short presentation, I will look into new directions and developments in IMC as we see it, especially through the prism of new technologies. And we will get to the point which we believe is the important one, and that's customer engagement and co-creation of the value. And at the end, I will present my view or our view, what is in for IMC. This is conceptual, maybe a little bit abstract paper, but I believe it has important practical consequences. So these are our starting points. Some of the IMC recent central contributions, which actually all moved away from the basic idea, just very simple one, we have to integrate, or our efforts started with promotional mix. So the first important one is idea of IMC as a business process. IMC is not only concerned with the integration of the various functional areas of marketing and communications, but includes all other functional areas within organization. This means that IMC has progressed from being viewed solely as a communication process, as Professor Kitchen said, Dawn was actually from the communication department, from journalism actually, so from the communication process to the status of a management process which aims to strategically manage the total customer experience. So that's first shift, a recent shift, which is, I believe, very important. Second one is that we have to see communication as a competitive advantage. Professor Kitchen and Schultz proposed that a decade ago that firms consider communication as a key competitive advantage of marketing. Also evidences from the increased importance of communication in marketing, it's actually, if you go back to the history of marketing, you will find books which started like, everything that someone do in marketing starts and ends with communication. And that's, I think, a basic idea as well here. So communication here is strongly related actually to branding, which is also another important view or theme inside the IMC field. So we have to see IMC in the terms of the total brand offering. And that's the second shift, recent shift in the IMC literature. The third one, especially important for further steps of our paper, is interactive issues within IMC paradigm. That actually acknowledgement of what Schultz called that push and pull marketplace. Integration of old and new media forms and when you have both forms together, which stimulate the customer. As well as new forms, new special social media as a source of behavioral data used for precise targeting of prospects. And finally, the fourth shift in IMC literature, audience-driven. So IMC should be audience-driven. So, essential trait of IMC approach to business planning is the centrality it gives to the multiple audience or publics, customer, prospects, etc., that an organization serves as the main driving force for all its business decisions and activities. This customer-centric and data-driven approach of the IMC business process begins and develops from a deep understanding of target audience as a guiding principle in arriving at marketing and branding objectives and strategies. In this sense, the IMC business processes focus on the so-called demand chain, rather than the traditional emphasis given by firms to the supply chain of business model. In that sense, if you look in the recent trends in IMC, we could say we are going back to the core, back to the customer, but in a different way. Finally, we have technology which enable us, to make marketing heaven from 50s come true. Or at least we think we have that. So, the role of new technology, I think it's very important also for this IMC paradigm. Although a talk about the shift from a product-centric approach to customer-centric approach has been going on for more than decades, new technologies, as I said, have finally enabled this shift. The advent of participatory media phenomenon pushes the customer centricity viewpoint of the IMC concept even further. Not only is the customer or prospect the nucleus of constant reference points for marketing and IMC, the customer today is, we believe, fully empowered to take absolute control of the content he or she desires to receive and create. If I ask you, how many of you have smartphone? Most of you. How many of you receive the advertising messages from your provider? Oh, so many. In Europe, this level is very, very low. You got probably some promotional price to have that, right?
There's no permission.
Okay. So we decide, I decide, if I want that or not, if I will have that or not, if I will take that or not. Not the company. Me, he or she. In an increasingly networked society, if I go to shift away from purely transactional to customer behavior, in increasingly networked society, where customer can interact easily with other customers and firms through the social networks, another new media, of course, non-transactional customer behavior is likely to become more and more important in the near future. Moreover, we observe that firms are increasingly pursuing strategies steering non-transactional behavior. Non-transactional behavior. It is not about transactions anymore. It is not about selling anymore, as Professor Kitchen said. It's about relationship. But who has the control over the relationship? If relationship is the right one, nobody has control. That's the probably secret of the good marriage. Or both have controls. And that's the idea. So, question is, how new technologies change customer behavior, and how a new understanding of customer behavior should be adopted by marketers, communicators when thinking about IMC. While marketers may still be focused on particular components of value, customers have a more contextual and integrated perception that determines their response. There are those who make integration. So, this leads to adoption of so-called relational perspective. And we believe that we can understand behavioral perspective through so-called service-dominant logic of the marketing. This theoretical lens offers a transcending view of relationship, which contrasts with a more traditional transactional view of marketing relationships, labeled the goods-dominant perspective, as Vargo called that. This broader relational perspective recognizes that specific customer behavior outcomes are generated by customers' particular interactive value, co-creative experience with organization and or other stakeholders. And I think that's the core. I believe that this can be a conceptual root of the concept of customer engagement, which is, I believe, one of the main important future trends in IMC, and the concepts worth considering. Customer engagement is a concept that has emerged recently to capture customers' total set of behavior activities toward the firm. It is directly related to the emergence of new media and all the new ways in which customers can interact with firms, including purchase and non-purchase behavior. As we all know, it is defined as a behavioral manifestation toward the brand or firm that goes beyond transaction and includes all consumers to firm interaction and consumer to consumer communication about the brand. It's not anymore only about customer to firm, but also customer to customer, about the brand, about the firm. Okay, so if we go to the main core, we came to the idea that customer engagement concept reflect customers' interactive, co-creative experiences with the other stakeholders in focal network service relationships. Customer is co-creation of the value. All social and economic actors are resource integrators. And value is unequally and phenomenologically determined by the beneficiary. Because value and co-creation of value is vital to customer engagement, it is sensible to think about integration to achieve a value for the parties involved. And here we can introduce the idea of double marketing mix. We use marketing mix as a metaphor. Not only firm has an offer for the customer, but the customer itself has an offer for the firm. And the final value comes together when those two marketing mix come together. It's not the firm anymore solely who create the value. It is, a waste, actually, if it is only one way. paradigm of social media, of new technology, those two values, those two offers, if you want, come together. And it's not about utilitarian values or solely utilitarian values anymore. It's symbolic value, much more important, and that's covered by branding. Social value, much more important, and that's all covers, communities, brand communities, etc. So, what that all means for IMC. And that's my final slide. Yes, it must be focused on outcomers rather than on marketing communication activities. But that's not enough. In future, or now, we have to make a step further. Optimal value would be one that maximizes the additive outcomes of all parties involved. However, value, don't forget, is subjective rather than objective, meaning that no shareable objective net outcomes exist, but rather subjective perception of the value. Image is back again. The firm can thus aim at improving the value outcome from itself and from the other stakeholders. Yes, great. Move from 4P to 4C. Very good. But it is also important to view that firm as a visitor in the customer's life sphere. By inspecting customers' current practices, marketers may discover inefficiencies and plan appropriate marketing activities accordingly. Firms can benefit from understanding customer life themes and applying this knowledge in making sense of customer value creation processes and outcome determination. To make more informed decisions while studying perception of firms' offering. And finally, focus shift from unique selling proposition to extra value proposition, and even more. Customer value perception should be linked to the firm, to the company. Therefore, it is important to consider strategies that help the customer acknowledge the role of the firm in the value creation. The firm's task is defined as making contribution to the customer's own value creation, in which the firm offering may be a vital ingredient, encouragement, in that sense, encouragement to contribute beyond the use, also in the sense of word of mouth, etc. So, at the end, we will ask ourselves in IMC, who is now on the supplier and who is on the demander side? And that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Very thought-provoking presentation. We're almost on time, don't worry about it. Any questions, any comments? All right, no one is going to. I have some. But I'd like to have the presentation up, please. You seem to be reading North Americans, but thinking as a Western European. But I would, as an Eastern European or from the Middle East, someone working on these issues, I would think sales dominant as a logic rather than a paradigm. Therefore, if there are two paradigms, one of them is a relational, the other one is an exchange. And I would think, Johnson and Groves should have been there, and I think this is North American imperialism in marketing. You are right to indicate that the focus is shifting from west to east, but don't forget the focus was on the east before. So what goes around comes around, and it's a very thoughtful and very provocative. Thank you so much. The last last but not least, a nearly PhD, and from your own CSR communications. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Firstly, welcome to our university. I'd like to start with that. It's a great honor, a privilege to be presenting in front of you, our distinguished professors, my colleagues, and my valuable dear students as well. Today, I will be talking about the impact of CSR communication, media, and consumer attitudes, research in retailing sector. This is my from a dissertation, very fresh, like my PhD. That's the outline. We will be talking about the concept of CSR, corporate social responsibility domains and communication, followed by methodology, findings, and results. That's the definition. There are many definitions for social responsibility, as all you know, but I choose this one for stakeholder theory is important for social responsibility, as the obligations of the firm to stakeholders who are, the ones affected by corporate policies and practices. The relationship between CSR domains and communication is very important, also for my research, I can say. These are the social issues that matter to stakeholders. Right now, also Podnar says that, thanks to him. Communicating CSR starts with the identification and anticipation of consumers and other stakeholders' expectations about CSR, so that's my starting point as well. These are the CSR domains. I try to be fast, please pardon me. The domains of socially responsible behavior are many and diverse, as Sen and Bhattacharya says in 2001. I choose this one, the Socrates, the Corporate Social Ratings Monitor by KLD company. They have had 600 companies, clients for them in 1999. These are the CSR domains, as you can see: community support, diversity, employee support, environment, product and overseas operations. That's a CSR communication definition, one of the also by Podnar. It's a process of anticipating stakeholders' expectations, so it starts with stakeholders' expectations, we can say. Articulation of CSR policy, managing of different organization communication tools, designed to provide true and transparent information. This is very important, significant in our era, as all you know, in the digital era, we can say, about a company's or brand's integration of its business operations, social and environmental concerns, and interactions with stakeholders, we can say. It's a framework of CSR communication. I have also used it in my research. I will be sharing it. We have CSR communication, contingency factors, and communication outcomes, as you see. Especially, of course, message content is important. I will also try to emphasize it. But the message channel, the corporate channel, and independent channel is important for me. I will make a comparison between media coverage and advertising. Right now, I come to my research. That's the goal and importance of the study. If you let me, I want to start with it. I will try to make a comparison, as I told you before, between CSR advertisement and news from the perspective of controlled and uncontrolled media. As all you know, when we say controlled media, the content is known, the frequency, you are under the control. Also the messages, everything is, the frequency. But when we say uncontrolled media, you don't have the control. For instance, it's the journalist writing down the story down. You don't have control over your message. I think that corporate social responsibility communication is an important area, and also it's an under-investigated area that needs further research. That's my research model. I have prepared it with, from, of course, literature research by Eisent and Küster, as you can see, for its meta-analysis, and it has, the comparison between publicity and advertising is done for many years. So it originates from meta-analysis findings, but I have added some factors like recall level, believability, and external factors. Recall level is also used, it's a variable which is used while comparing advertisement and publicity by Cameron and Hallahan. Also, external factors we have, the individual factors and situational factors. The individual factors, for instance, is the issue support, whether the stakeholders, especially for my case, consumers attach importance to the issue to corporate social responsibility area at hand. And situational factors is the reputation, for instance, is a situational factor, which is the most reputable company in terms of social responsibility communication. So I try to identify the most successful supermarket in Turkey, in Izmir. Also, I've tried to add a hypothetical supermarket in order to not to confuse the experiment's results. Also, sorry for that, I forgot believability. You can see it in attitude toward message here. That's also very important factor. It's about third-party endorsement. Whether an independent channel supports the issue, changes the credibility level or not, it's about it. These are my hypotheses. I think that I have started in that way. People exposed to CSR news will evaluate the message as more believable when you compare with advertisement group, will evaluate the message as more favorable, attitude toward message again, the second hypothesis. People exposed to CSR news will evaluate the brand as more favorable, again, in comparison with advertisement group. People exposed to CSR news will report stronger behavior intentions to purchase, to buy from stores. That's the fourth one. And with the null hypothesis coming at the end, there is no difference between CSR news and advertisement groups. That's my research design. I've tried to conduct the research in two stages. One is descriptive research and the other is experimental research. I have conducted the study in Izmir on 569 people. They're all consumers, not my valuable students. I have conducted let's say, survey on people older than 15 years old. I've tried to, in the first stage, in the descriptive research, I work on CSR domains. I try to find out the domain that is given or attached importance most. And the environment was the answer. The environmental domain was chosen, selected by consumers. I have also worked on real supermarkets, and I've taken them from Izmir Chamber of Commerce, the registration list. Out of 668 supermarkets, only the ones with 3 stores have chosen, and I put them in alphabetical order, and consumers have selected the most successful supermarket. Tansash is chosen. We have it in Izmir, also in other cities as well in Turkey. I have also had, as I told you at the beginning, hypothetical market. I have run another survey on 95 people. You can see the logos and corporate colors of supermarkets. These supermarkets don't exist. Advertising person Burak Hoca helped me. He found them. He found the names. Also, I work with designers from an agency in Izmir for logos, for designing logos. I was trying to find not the most like one, not the least like one, but something in the middle. And that's why how marketer is chosen, the third one on the list. Also, as I told you at the beginning, I have an experimental research. I have 4 experimental groups. Advertisement news group, but hypothetical market and the market that is seen as or that's found as most successful Tansash. That's my research instrument. I decided to place it in a newspaper, but the newspaper that I will be choosing should be a reliable, widely read, widely followed newspaper. I chose Daily Hürriyet because I have a survey result, media trust survey from 2009. It says, according to this research, it's the most reliable newspaper. And also it's a regularly followed newspaper in Izmir. So it belongs to this issue. This is a supplement, in fact, Izmir supplement. And it's about 17th of January 2012. I followed the newspaper for some time and seen this advertisement. As you see, it is about Tansash, but it's about, daily sports activities. We have this lady, sports lady, and with people in Izmir, they are organizing sports activities and they are attending those activities in Göztepe and Bostanlı. Nice places. Anyway, so this is about my research instrument again. With findings of the first stage from academic literature, I have tried to prepare those, the experimental materials. As you see, we have advertisements here of Tansaç and Marketa, and I like to make them very similar to each other in order to not to confuse the test results. The impact is important for me, for we know that there are suspicions with regard to advertising. So the academic literature states that you need to state the impact, and then people will believe in you. That's why the impact is, as you can see, 2 million trees. We are planting 2 million trees. Also, the use of a recognized, credible third-party organization is important, again, according to academic literature. That's why I put Ege Orman Farkı Aegean Forest Foundation. By the way, I need to say it as well. It's not original. It's from a supermarket in England, from Sainsbury's supermarket. That's their social responsibility project. And they were cooperating with Woodland Trust Organization, a charity organization. So that's why I have prepared those. Also, this is news. You know, I've written the news story by myself. Hopefully it is good. You know, Tansaç has opened a store in Tree. I don't know how I translated it. It's about, again, the academic literature was important for me. You know, people say that it's not easy to take place in media with social responsibility news, for we have many social responsibility campaigns, even in Turkey we can say that. So if you demonstrate the financial impact, or if you provide an extraordinary story, and then you can raise the interest of the media. That's what I try to do. You know, also I've used the newsworthy criteria, like impact, unique, proximity. It's the first tree store in Turkey. Also, it takes place in Seferihisar, you know, a town in Izmir. So I thought it's good for proximity reasons. That's the research instrument. These are my scales. I haven't developed them. That's what I'd like to show you, reveal you. You know, we have Hallahan, the believability scale, Davashiv et al., and also Yağcılar. I've used their scales. And these are my findings. I won't spend I know I have limited time on them, but I have reliability analysis. And I found out that the environmental domain is the most important one. These are also 2 questions for that, and I have taken the same answer. I try to control those. Again, about descriptive research, I think this one is important. Maybe you will remember from the study of Morting Schulz. Do you think they should publicize their good deeds? You know, what they do, their social responsibility projects? For people living in Turkey, in Izmir, I can say that no, shouldn't publicize is only 4%. You know, when you have a look at the figures, numbers, like 36% yes, publicized in store environment, publicized through press releases, publicized through corporate advertising. Please give your attention, you know, to publicize through press releases and corporate advertising has the same percentages. I guess it is important for me. The most successful supermarket, Tansaç, that's the finding. The experimental research findings, these are, I try to make the groups similar. That's why I have matching sample checks. Also, I have reliability analysis for Chromba alpha figures. Will show you that. In terms of cognitive responses, I guess it is important. I ask people 3 questions. What about the number of trees? You know, what is the name of foundation? Which town does it take place? And only, as you can see, Pearson's chi-square results, the number of trees, there is difference between the groups, but advertising performs better, not news for me, let's say. Second stage, that's experimental research finding on hypothesis. So in terms of believability, there is difference between groups, as you can see. I've applied, by the way, non-parametric tests, I need to say it. And there is difference between believability between groups, and news is more believable than advertisement. Also, attitude towards message, there is difference between groups in terms of attitude towards message. Again, news performs better. But for the 2 total attitudes towards brand and total brand purchase intent, there is no difference between the groups. You know, they perform same. And these are my conclusions. In terms of literature, I will be trying to compare them in fast way. Cognitive effects involve whether news leads to more true learning of information that will result in higher levels of recall. But as Halan says, precise results are not available for publicity and advertising purposes. Also true for me. As I told you, advertisement performs better. Conclusions to research question 1, yes, they evaluate the message as more believable in comparison with the advertisement group. So what Cameron says, it is in harmony with research, with literature findings, I can say. There may be some basis for claiming that a third-party endorsement by editorial staff adds credence to editorial copy. About research question 2, this is also in harmony with findings from experimental research. News leads to more positive attitudes. But of course, I need to state it, I guess, audience is not able to differentiate between advertisement and news. You know, so for news, they perform better, 78%, but for advertisement, only half. So they can they can differentiate, they can identify it. I think I'm waiting for expecting your contributions for the issue, I need to say. I think it's about persuasion knowledge model. Maybe they don't identify it as advertisement, but since consumers develop personal knowledge about tactics used in persuasion attempts, you know, they know that marketers are trying to influence them. That's the difference. For research question 3, they don't evaluate the brand as more favorable, as I told you. And it's about the research question 4. They don't report stronger behavior and tensions to purchase from stores. But it is also in harmony with literature findings. It remains uncertain that David et al. Says that CSR activities are directly related to purchase intentions. Also, from Chief's study, no main effects purchase intent levels for news and advertising were same. No main attacks were found. Thank you. That's the end.